Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good night, good morning, wherever the heck you are. Man, this is like the old days, or at least Rings of Power. I'm doing a live review of a TV show after it airs because Disney Plus decided to do something smart. I know, gotta call them like I see them. Releasing a show at a decent time in the country where it counts, America. Sorry, Europe. Sorry, Australia and the rest of the world, but this is where it counts, baby. And everybody can have the shared experience of being bored to death together. So, welcome to the Ahsoka review. I already saw in the chat, Ahsoka D's nuts. Very good. That's a little louder there. The first two episodes were Master and Apprentice and Toil and Trouble. And this is essentially season 5 of Rebels, a show I watched some of, didn't care much about, actually reviewed a couple episodes on this channel way back in the day. So please forgive me if I don't give a crap enough to remember names. I'll have to think back to Heir to the Empire, a book I read 25 years ago. The last time I read it was 25 years ago, because it takes place in a world I just don't care about. No matter what happens in this show, Luke is drinking soy milk out of the titty. And you can't put the soy milk back into the titty. Han Solo still walks into a lightsaber like a moron. Princess Leia still dies being a moron. And Obi-Wan is also the babysitter of a quitter who quit on the quitter so he can follow around an 8-year-old girl boss, Princess Leia, who runs like a toddler. There are pieces of The Mandalorian, which you had to watch a piece of Boba Fett to understand what's going on, including Morgan, right? So, yeah, you're going to have to know an awful lot before you get into this to even give a crap about what's going on, and I don't. Essentially, this is women in space. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. He was fine in it. The problem with this, and we'll start spoiler free, and then I'll get into spoilers with my studious notes that I wrote in the dark in my. I can't believe I wasted my home theater projection bulb on this, but I did. So I saw it in its glorious UHD, and it was a snooze fest. Is it as bad as The Mandalorian season 3? Time will tell. I would say in the first 2 episodes, no. I never finished Andor. A lot of people liked Andor. If you liked Andor, that's great. Nobody watched it. It bored me to tears. So I dipped out after the first 3 episodes. Is it better than Boba Fett? Yes. I would say the set design is better. It still looks like people are walking in front of a volume. The effects are okay. Not perfect. There's some sets that look good, some sets that didn't look so good. The biggest problem with this show is it's directed by Dave Filoni, and I don't know who it's edited by, but it is some of the worst editing I have seen in television. You can actually count a beat between people's lines when they're talking to each other. You can go 1, 2, 3, answer. Line 1, 2, 3, answer. That's terrible. That's utterly terrible. It's paced abysmally. And everybody delivers their lines like they're reading off a cue card, and they got one shot to do it. The cartoon characters emoted more than anybody in this. It's a bunch of stoic people delivering lines with no emotion, no passion. I am very sorry to report that Star Wars is not saved. Is this going to usurp Luke and take over his story from Heir of the Empire? Probably. Probably in a very Dave Filoni way. But this one is... It's the Ahsoka show, but it focuses on Sabine. That SJW dated Star Wars character that by the end looks like an SJW from Tumblr from 2016. All with she's riding her little speeder bike to punk rock music. What? In Star Wars? Yeah. But yeah, it focuses on Sabine. And yeah, we get to see all the women from Rebels return. Zeb? No Zeb. Rex? Did he survive? Can't remember. Don't care. Doesn't matter. So it's Ahsoka, Hera, Sabine. And there's like no chemistry between these actors. Like none. It is what Disney Star Wars is. It's a zombie franchise, and they just reanimated it, and they tried to make it look pretty. It's like the corpse has been to the Undertaker, right? And it's been embalmed. It's been made look pretty, but it's still a corpse. It's still a corpse taking place in a timeline that's a complete disaster. Any hopes of them doing the world between worlds and scrubbing everything before and starting again? No, because they're just going to remake the original trilogy someday. I've been saying that since the day Disney bought Star Wars, and they will do it. I promise you. So we're just mucking around with member berries, and Sabine is I know some reviews were like, she is just the best character, and she's terrible. She's unlikable. She's terrible. It is a Disney girl boss. She's right down to the smirk. I'll show you the smirk. I'll show you the smirk. You can pick out who the Imperials are in this. Just pick out the white guys. It's pretty easy. If you want to know who the Imperial agents are, who are going to say, for the Empire, let's look for the white guys. That'll be your hint. So yeah, I was bored. I'm sure Rebels fans will love this, though the ones who actively watched it on Disney XD, and I guess it's been on streaming. But quite frankly, I am an original trilogy fan. I am old school Star Wars, which they try to do, but there's something off about the. Chris Gore mentioned this, and he's right. The costuming, way too clean. I'm looking at it right now. Here, let's take a look at some of it. Oh, that's a white guy. Don't worry, he dies. I put that in my notes. He's like one of the first guy who pops up at the beginning of the episode. I'm all, he dead. He is dead. Now, to be fair, they killed some of the diverse people too. So that's. I mean, hey, Disney's progress, not perfection. But yeah, there's something that just looks a little too clean and off. It looks like Disney is trying to make Star Wars, and they can't do it. They've had it for 10 effing years, and they can't do it. And you know what? I'm not going to insult any fans. I try not to do that. If you like something, freaking like something. Life is too short. Whatever. Don't listen to me. Don't let me ruin your good time. By the way, I can't. Only you can. But, I mean, fans are a hopeful lot. They're a positive, hopeful lot. And you got to love that. And you want to lean into that. But there's got to be a point where you just go, okay, this ain't happening. And I'd say 10 years in, we can say it's not happening. Disney has fumbled the ball. Kathleen Kennedy is the worst leader in the history of the worst studio head in the history of Hollywood. Failed upward. Completely incompetent. Can't make a right decision. But as I said on the Real BBC today, because she's 72. She's a 72-year-old, she should be writing $12 checks to her grandkids, not making decisions for one of the greatest pop culture franchises of all time. But she produced Raiders Lost Ark, or not Raiders Lost Ark, but Indiana Jones and so many great things, and E.T., and yeah, with Steven Spielberg. One of the greatest directors to ever live. He's gonna make a lot of people look good. Hate to pull a sports reference on you, but I'm gonna. Bill Belichick, pretty good coach. His assistant coaches have gone into the NFL and mostly sucked. Mostly sucked. I think one of his assistants has done well. That guy from Cleveland, that guy's name is Nick Saban. But everybody else has kind of blown it in the NFL. Nick Saban blew it in the NFL too. See, just because you're associated with somebody great it's not going to make you great. But that's how Hollywood works. That's how it always works. But she's been terrible. She's been utterly terrible. That's old news. She's also very employed. Although I did hear this past Friday, Kathleen Kennedy left Lucasfilm. And then she returned to work on Monday. Thank you. I'm going to use that one till it dies. Who's worse, KK or Biden? Yes. That's my answer. That is my answer, lower lips liquor. Yes, I have some sports ball knowledge. I was a massive NFL fan for the majority of my life. Not anymore, though. Not anymore. And the same with Star Wars. You know, hey, life is full of joys and heartbreaks. Having your heart just ripped out of your chest and watching Spanos pull the Chargers out of San Diego was heart-wrenching. And watching Disney kill Star Wars was heart-wrenching. And then apathy set in, and I just had no fucks to give. Had no fucks to give for the NFL or Disney Star Wars or Disney. They have destroyed 2 massive franchises. The other one's dying. You're hearing the death rattle of the MCU. That's my video that's coming out tomorrow. And I know there's Ahsoka fans out there. I initially thought she was annoying, and then she grew into a good character, and she should have died. My son, he's getting ready for school, right? So he takes his shower, and he walks past me in the home theater, and he looks and he sees Ahsoka, and he just turns to me and goes, "She should have died," and went to bed. And I'm like, he's such a good boy. So yeah, she should have died. It would have made that a tragedy. That really would have given weight. I mean, if you had a decent storyteller, imagine the weight. Imagine how evil that makes Darth Vader and how effed up that is. That would have been, in a very tragic way, beautiful, beautiful storytelling to have her die. And that's what many of us thought at the time. It's like, that's why she doesn't get brought up. But no, she's just going to survive like a cockroach in the fucking in nuclear after a nuclear war. And when they have the Rey movie come out eventually, she's going to show up in it going, "Oh yeah, I know, like Star Killer, blew up 6 planets and we did everything bigger and better, even though you were Giant Mary Sue, but I was just hanging out, in the shadows." It's stupid. And again, I can't stress this enough. The cartoon characters, the digitally animated cartoon characters are far more human than the humans delivering lines in this. Disney, and this is surprising because they own a couple of television networks. One, they owned a couple of cable channels, 3, maybe 20. I don't know. And they own ABC, but Disney Plus, Lucasfilm, and Marvel do not know how to make television shows. They're pretty terrible at it. And all you have to do is go over to your competition, HBO, and notice that they are really good at making TV shows. Copy everything they do. Disney Plus, you might not know this, was built by people they stole from Netflix back in the early days. Or maybe just Netflix let those people go. You never know. Let's see who's here. I'll answer a couple of questions. Is that WG? It's WG. I'm wearing your shirt, WG. Thank you. He got me this for my birthday present. I don't feel tardy. KKK. Sorry. KK. Say KKK. Equals crappy Star Wars. And I'm pretty sure she's also the type of person who'd put raisins in potato salad. Absolutely. Oh my God. Listen, I like pineapple on pizza, but raisins in potato salad is a crime against humanity, okay? That is a crime against humanity. $50 from William Weldman. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Will, it's okay we're going to spoil from here on out. She has some pretty insufferable lines. Sabine, I'm fine, literally says, I'm fine after being, wow, just like a favorite Shiro. I honestly can't remember her name, the bad chick from Obi-Wan. Hope you're doing well, Gary. Hopefully you, again, hope to see you again at LA Comic-Con. You will see me again at LA Comic-Con, God willing, higher power willing. You will see me again. We're making a trip out of that. Yeah, so I guess the big spoiler that we talked about on Real BBC is Sabine gets stabbed in the gut and survives, just like Reva. And what we have established is Qui-Gon Jinn is a giant pussy. What a pussy. Poor Qui-Gon. Rick Reese, $49.99. Thank you for the super sticker. Cheers. Cheers. And Hammer of subtle is it subtlety? Is it supposed to be subtlety? I don't know. I can't read Hammer, so I'm illiterate. Yet I read books. I don't know how I do it. For $20. Hey, Gary, earlier today, you were talking about how these franchises need to be put on ice to recover. If you get a chance, ask Jeremy about Metroid. Had a TLJ level knife wound that put the series down for 7 years. He has talked, I've heard him talk about it. And yes, the only way you can save a franchise is by putting it on ice when it's this bad. And hope for the best. I think 7 years is a good amount of time. I think 5 years is pushing it, but that could be done. But I think 7 years is a good amount of time. I would go with 10. Corporations will never be that patient. But I want to remind you that Star Wars was the biggest thing on the planet, and George sat on it for a good long time. Released some figures afterwards up until 1985 with the Power of the Force, and then kind of sat on it. And then around 1990, 91, Heir to the Empire came out, and it was a slow rollout. Started doing some comic books, and that slow rollout hit the 20-year mark, which is a mark for trends. It's a major mark for trends, because when you were a child, and for example, you're a Gen Xer, and you're enjoying Star Wars, you're like 7, 8, 9, 10. 20 years later, you're 27, 8, 9, 10. You start having this thing called disposable income. Not all of us had a ton of it, but you start having it and you go, man, all those cool things from when I was a kid, I remember that was fun. That is a normal thing for trends, for pop culture trends, the 20-year rule. Is it exactly 20 years all the time? No, it's not. Notice there's been a bit of a resurgence of Lord of the Rings. You think that's got anything to do with the Rings of Power? No. Lord of the Rings, greatest trilogy ever made. It turned 20. It's a 20-year rule. Could be 25 sometimes. Back in the 80s, you know what was really popular in the late 80s was the late 60s. 20 years. Beatles had a resurgence. A lot of hippie shit started coming back up. So that's your trend lesson for today. And this is work I've done with my wife Melissa, who was a hairdresser, and part of her job was a thing called trend scouting. So I started applying that same thing that hair and makeup people do, artists do, musicians do, music producers do. I started applying that to comics for my shop. Trend scouting. Plus, it's a great way to write off like DVDs, Blu-rays, going to the movies and stuff. Doing fun stuff and making it a tax write-off. Let's be real. I was just doing stuff I liked, and I called it trend scouting, but that's what it turned into. Wookiee Be Bad for $10. This is the complete death of Star Wars when on one of the biggest character ends. This because there is no heart left. No Trinity or Vader without a good ending for the Trinity. Yes, this would be like trying to continue DC after you, oh God, they actually did that. I was going to say after you prison raped Superman, but that actually happened. After you turned Batman gay, I'm sure that's happened. And after you've done, after you've turned Wonder Woman gay, oh shit, that's happened. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like killing the Trinity and going on. You get Disney, whether they like it or not, they say we paid for, I forgot what the number of characters was. It was like a couple thousand characters. No, you paid for Han, Luke, and Leia and Darth Vader. Han, Luke, and Leia and Darth Vader. That's what you paid for. When you bought Marvel, you bought the well, no, you didn't buy the X-Men. You didn't buy Spider-Man. You bought Iron Man. You bought the Avengers. You bought Captain America. You bought the top tier characters. That's what runs it. Warner Brothers, DC is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. That's it. And it's mostly Batman, to be honest with you. That's what you paid for. All the additional characters are great and you can work with them and that's fine, but they need the bigger characters to survive. End of story. The MCU is showing you that right now. You always need the big fish. You always need the big fish. That's why it would be really important to the comic book industry for Marvel and DC to actually do well. That would lift all the other boats and probably save a lot of shops and help independent comics, help crowdfunded comics, but it's not. It's not. So it's going to be the slow dying. It's just how these things work. I don't make the rules. How Disney can obliterate all of Star Wars in the Rey movie using WBW Rey gets trapped in the past on Tatooine, where she learns she's preggo due to Kylo force healing her, then or force sperming her. Then she changes her name to Smee. Oh wow, that would be terrible. Aloha boy for $9.99. That would be terrible. Okay, I'll get to your WG has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Hail, brother. RSKWMD for $5. I sure am glad they made this show air on Tuesday because Sabine just makes me think of See You Next Tuesday. Oh, you get one for that. Yeah, she was so unlikable in this. All right, quick. We're just going to go over the plot. There's not much. Basically, it's the beginning. We see our soon-to-be dead white guy, and the ship gets boarded by what they believe is Jedi. They used a Jedi signal, but it's not Jedi. It is not Jedi. It's Ray Stevenson. I forgot what his name was. Don't really care. And his, I mean, she's cute. The blonde apprentice. And they need to break out a prisoner that Ahsoka captured because she captured Morgan in season 2 of Mandalorian, right? Season 2 of Mandalorian. I'm trying to, without getting copyright claim. Season 2 of Mandalorian, she faced off with Morgan, and it looked like she was going to kill her. Then she didn't. Well, she caught her, but then she gave her to another transport ship. The transport ship was intercepted by Ray Stevenson. And he says, allow me to show you our identification. And they cut them all up, right? They cut them all up. They break her out. And she leaves. She knows the location of Grand Admiral Thrawn. We cut to Ahsoka, who is at a temple of some kind. And this temple, she goes down in the bottom. And basically, the temple is a bunch of women with balls. And Ahsoka is looking for a ball. So we have a bunch of women looking for balls. Now, the balls are a map, but they're still balls. So women searching for balls is basically, and dude, okay. So she walks slowly up to the temple. Here, I'm going to show you a picture of her right next to this very phallic object. Okay, so she walks slowly up to the temple, and she uses her dual lightsaber to perfect circle into the ground. By the way, it's very hard to do a perfect circle. And she falls into the lower part of the temple where you see 3 women in robes holding balls in their hands, and then in the middle there's like it looks like Gobekli Tepe, which is super phallic, by the way. And some stones go down, another one goes up, and there's a ball. So she finds her ball. That ball is a map. The problem with this scene, and there's so many, the best part is there's no lines. It's Rosario Dawson stoically looking at a room. Now, this might have some meaning to like EU or Dave Filoni. No, wait a minute. I can't mix those two because Dave Filoni, EU fans, I apologize. I know Dave Filoni is your devil. Okay. So there must be some Rebels lore that I don't remember that's painted on the wall. I'm supposed to know. I don't give a shit. I just see women with balls. And she gets the ball. It's a map. Then she gets attacked by some droids. But most of this is her just walking up to shit, looking at it, going, walking around it, looking at it. And then lining up the top of this pillar right here. Oh, sorry, I'm pointing it the wrong way. Top of that pillar right there slides, and it lines up to a woman holding a ball. All right. Subtle symbolism right there. So she has to line it up to the 3 women who are all holding balls. So the ball will come up, and she grabs the ball. It's a map. The map is the map to Thrawn. But we need to decode the map. So now that we found this MacGuffin, we got to decode the MacGuffin. And what do we need to decode the MacGuffin? For some reason, we need Sabine. Sabine. I remember her being a graffiti artist with dyed hair, and she's probably on Space Tumblr. But how she would decode a map, not really sure. Sabine, by the way, was the apprentice of Ahsoka. When did Ahsoka become a Jedi again? I think we discussed that during Mandalorian. Whatever. So she's a Jedi. She was the master. Sabine was her Padawan, and they had a falling out. Why? Can't remember. Most importantly, don't care. Don't care. Yes, it's Spaceballs. It starts out as Spaceballs. We are still at the temple. She fights some droids. She beats the droids. The droids self-destruct. And she blow. Oh, I'm not supposed to show that showing. Oh, well. Hopefully Disney doesn't get mad. Oh, Disney? Oh, fuck you. And, what the hell was David Tennant's... what the heck is his robot name? Huyang? Did I say that right? Huang? I'm going to call it Huang. So Huang is David Tennant. And I was like, oh, man, I love David Tennant. Man, this is going to be a fun droid. This is going to be a super fun droid. No, it's David Tennant reading lines as passionless as possible. It's like he was directed that way. It's almost like this live action show was directed by somebody who directs cartoons. So she catches up with Huang. And then we get some member berries. Oh, look. X-Wings. Look at that. Remember X-Wings? I remember. Flying in formation. And then we get Hera, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, the woman who is now married to Ewan McGregor. So they lost the prisoner. They got the ball. They're going to go see Sabine. And these 2 ladies pass the Bechdel test with flying colors. They don't discuss a man, a little bit, Ezra, but it's not like a romantic man. They also deliver the lines as dry and passionless as possible. It's really terrible. We're 17 minutes into a show that is without credits. 50 minutes. And then there is 7 minutes of credits after that. Okay. When do we come in? I can read you the crawl. Here, I'll read you the crawl. The evil galactic empire has fallen. Here, I can show it to you. The evil galactic empire has fallen, and a new republic has risen to take its place. However, sinister agents are already at work to undermine the fragile peace. So there's a little bit of that is from Her to the Empire. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Let's see if I can get the... we got former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano captured one of Thrawn's allies and learned of a secret map which is vital to the enemy's plan. Ahsoka now searches for the map as her prisoner. Morgan Elsbeth is transported to the New Republic for trial. So that was it's not a crawl though, it just kind of goes up. Oh, in the meantime, this is where we get Sassy Sabine. So they're doing whatever the planet Sabine is on. Was this the planet they were on when the space whales happened? Don't care. I don't care. So she's supposed to show up. Sabine is supposed to show up to a celebration of Ezra and all the rebels who saved planet. And she doesn't show up. She blows it off because she is a rock and roll rebel. And a Mandalorian. Now, we got Clancy Brown. I mean, it's always cool to see Clancy, all right? Why he's slumming around in this show, don't know, but paycheck's a paycheck. I won't hold it against you, brother. You're a legend. Legend! But then we get Punk Rock Sabine, who's blowing off the celebration. Everybody's like, hey, thanks for saving us. She's like, fuck you. I'm Punk Rock. And we got some duck lips going. These are like better than drunk 3PO duck lips right there. Look at that. Quack, quack. It's so natural to ride your speeder bike like this. Like you're fucking posing for GQ or whatever the fuck. There's another one where it's like she's straight up doing the SJW fucking Disney Marvel smirk. And it's just, ugh. So, yeah, at this scene, there's punk rock music playing in Star Wars. And I'm sure you're thinking of it, too. The Vespas. The Star Wars Vespas from Boba Fett. One of the most cringe things in the history of Star Wars. This is a callback to it. So they're, hey, come back. And she's like, was it today? Oh, well, don't care because I am a woman and I am important. And I'm going to eventually be the key to everything and be the... Oh, there's the smirk right there. There we go. There we go. That's like signature Disney insufferable smirk. And she's insufferable. So she gets away. Then we get to see Ezra. We get to see Ezra in a little hologram. And, yeah, he's just like, hey... Sorry I had to bail out on you and save the world. But that's what Jedis do. And basically she misses him. And he's like, you're like a sister to me. And blah, blah, blah. Well, we know that because there can't be any romantic relationships of the hetero kind in anything Disney. The only character... I would say I like Ray Stevenson and his apprentice. I like the idea of them. They are Ray. Okay, what's his name? Baylan Skoll. Baylan Skoll. By the way, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. I got to meet the man at my comic store for Punisher Warzone, and he was only supposed to stay like 2 hours to do a signing. He stayed for 6 over 6 and signed every last thing. There was a line down the street, around the corner. Lovely guy. Great guy. So sad. But yeah, these characters, I like the idea of them. But like if we literally lived in a different reality where there was better storytelling in Star Wars, you know, That's about the nicest thing I could say. The music is a slight improvement. It still doesn't sound Star Wars, but it sounds more Star Wars than The Mandalorian. Terry Matalas did it right. He straight up just made variations of Jerry Goldsmith's soundtrack from Star Trek to put in Picard Season 3. That's all you need to do. Find somebody who can emulate and make variations of John Williams music. There's plenty of it out there. Because John Williams music is a character in Star Wars. Why am I giving him? Fuck it. Don't listen to me, Disney. I'm a bigot. Don't listen to me. I'm just a nasty bigot. I don't want to give them advice. Go screw yourself. You know what? Put disco. Put techno. I don't give a shit what you put behind this. I don't care. All right. There's Sabine this is Sabine meeting Ahsoka for the first time, and they're not happy with each other. Whatever. So the first time they meet, Clancy Brown like whispers in Sabine's ear. He's like, "You're gonna want to listen what she has to say," and we're gonna think like, "Hey, haven't seen you for a while. Blah blah blah. Let's fill in what happened between you two." Nope, none of that. She just goes, "I think I can find Ezra," and shows her the ball. And she goes, "Fine." And then they slowly walk into a room, slowly walk around a room, and there's a lot of that. I'm skipping all of the slowly walking up to something, delivering a line, count to 3, line responds, count to 3, actor responds to that, count to 3, walk slowly. And by the way, everybody's acting like they're in a church on Sunday. They're like, "Hello, Sabine. Hello, Ahsoka. I see there's a giant ball in your hand." "Yes, there is. I think I can find Ezra." And then David Tennant delivers his lines, "I am a droid and I am 75% original parts." And we're all talking in this tone, like we're on a PBS radio show, a baking show. That's how everything is delivered. Even the bad guys are talking very monotonely and quietly, like they're doing a voiceover for a soap commercial. Right. Oh, I know you haven't gotten enough of it. Smirking Sabine. I mean, it's filled with this. And yes, there are critics. So the critics who have seen this, honestly, there has been, like, The Guardian called it crap. And even, I think The Hollywood Reporter called it the anti-Andor. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. But a lot of them, Ryan did a video on today. A lot of the tweets are like, "Women empowerment." Like, oh my God. Like, Hollywood over the last few years has acted like the husband who got, like, caught cheating with his wife's sister on their bed, and they're trying to stay married and apologize to it. They've gone so overboard because of the Me Too thing that was taken advantage of by women, by the way. Me Too could not have happened without a lot of powerful women. A lot of strong women made Me Too happen for Harvey Weinstein, including the showrunner of an upcoming Star Wars show, Leslie Headland, former Harvey Weinstein assistant. So, you know, we need to recognize, I need to do this next International Women's Day, is recognize all the women who helped Me Too happen. Like Meryl Streep. Yeah. And Leslie Headland. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So they're overcompensating. And, you know, it's just a world of...
You know, times are changing. Ladies can do stuff now.
What? Were you saying something? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
Oh, where was I? Sabine smirking. Okay. So we're very slowly figuring out that this is the ball that has the map on it to Thrawn, which we knew. I knew this entire episode. So the two bad, they're not dark Jedis. They're not good Jedis. That's why their lightsabers are orange. Okay. They're orange. So Ahsoka wants Sabine to figure out the map because she's got the artist's eye. Sabine wants to take it home. Ahsoka says no. She does it anyway. Morgan, who escapes and is the girl. Now, when we saw Ray Stevenson as Balon, did you think he would be like the big boss? Hell no, because they need to have a girl boss. And Morgan is a massive girl, an insufferable girl boss in this. There's so many of them. So she bosses him around. She tells him to send the apprentice to go get Sabine. And Sabine figures out the map, and we see two galaxies, basically, the Star Wars galaxy and another galaxy, and a line goes out to it, and that's where Thrawn is. So we know Thrawn is in another galaxy, and possibly Ezra is out there. So we all know this is information we know now. So we're just getting to information we know, and they slowly, at the end, Ray Stevens' apprentice and a couple of droids attack Sabine. Sabine was not being trained. She was, according to her, abandoned by her master Ahsoka, which would be very much in line with the way the Jedis act now at Disney Star Wars. They just kind of give up on shit, not care. And hell of a lot of them survived Order 66. Somehow they came back. So they have a little fight. And Ahsoka doesn't make it in time. And Sabine gets gutted. God, but not to worry. 'Tis but a flesh wound. It's a woman getting stabbed in the stomach, not a man. Qui-Gon, pussy. That's the end of the first episode. That's the end of the first episode. The second, Sharp for 5 Canadian pesos. That's not a Disney smirk. That's just how any woman who spent too much time in college smirks. Oh, yeah, why is it buffering? I'm on freaking fiber. Disney got me. Disney got me. I should not be buffering. So, Sabine is all right. She's fine. And but she lost the map, and she didn't back it up. She saw kind of the location, but it wasn't enough. But she did get one droid who's still there. They sit there and argue for a little bit, don't really give a crap. Then we go to some other planet where Morgan and Ray Stevenson and his Padawan have the ball. They put the ball in the middle of here, I'll show you. There we go. They put the ball right there in the middle, and it shows them the location, and it kind of looks, I mean, a little bit, just on my memory, like the Worlds Between Worlds thing. There's a big, here, I can probably give you a visual aid. I'll give you a visual aid of what it looks like. Yeah. There we go. There we go. So when you're in that, it looks like the World Between Worlds a little bit. And they find the location of Thrawn again. So we know Thrawn's out there and Ezra's out there. And they have this thing called the Eye of Sauron. No, the Eye of Sion. Not the Eye of Sauron. The Eye of Sion. And it's a big round thing. So after arguing a little bit, Ahsoka goes back to Sabine's place, gets the droid that she killed that was still alive, decapitates it. By the way, when she goes to Sabine's place, she walks around her room forever. It's like a good minute, but it's like we're supposed to be enamored with this messy room, and maybe there's a bunch of freaking Rebels Easter eggs in there. Couldn't give a shit. So she's just walking around. She waits for the droid. Sabine's like little cat, chicken-legged fucking thing. I forgot what it's called, is in there. Ahsoka cuts off the robot's head. They bring it back, and maybe they can get some information off the robot's head. But, let's create some tension now. If she hacks the robot's head, it might explode. Oh, my God. We're totally going to pretend the robot's head's going to explode while Sabine is working her hacker skills, because she's a she's a modern tumblerina in Star Wars that's dated back to 2016, and she does it, and she gets some information that they decode that has something to do with the hyperdrive, I believe. I gotta look at my notes. I think that's how they figured out the hyperdrive is in a shipyard. There's a hyperdrive. No, Morgan was the one who helped construct a lot of the Imperial ships, including hyperdrives on Corellia, Han Solo's planet. So they go there. Ahsoka and Hera go there. They talk about Sabine some more. They're like, she's just an independent woman. She's a Mandalorian. That's just the way she is. You're both very stubborn. It's like, yeah, and completely unlikable. Completely unlikable. So they go to Corellia. They're there. Oh, wait. And there's the shipyard right there. And they meet the shipyard guy. He's a white guy, so I'm just going to tell you right now. Imperial. Imperial sympathizer. And so Ahsoka asks Hera, Morgan's not supposed to have anything on the shipyards of Corellia because the new Republic won. There shouldn't be any Imperial remnants. Did you check? And Hera goes, So what this show does is it chips away at Star Wars. Like everything Disney produces, especially post original trilogy, chips away at the legend of Star Wars, doing irrevocable damage. Imagine a corpse that's still being killed by 1,000 paper cuts. That's kind of what it is, right? So the New Republic were fucking idiots. We're just flat out idiots, deserve to be conquered. Not really sure how they beat the Empire in the first place because the New Republic is stupid. Leia's New Republic is effing stupid. They're holding on by a thread. You could still show them holding on by a thread, but still maybe explaining like we're still doing a lot of good. So they get to the shipyards of Corellia, and this guy just straight up says, "Oh yeah, there's Imperials everywhere. We couldn't do anything without Imperials. Like a Republic isn't made in a day. All right, show me that, but show me progress without maybe undercutting the Trinity." But that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Every second of Disney Star Wars kills Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia some more, and George Lucas's legacy. Every second does irreversible damage. So these two cartoon characters, who were quite frankly more human when they were cartoon characters, are talking to this obvious Imperial. They go and check it out. They go check out the base. And Huang talks to Sabine about Sabine being just kind of, she's all right. Like Huang does say, you're not that talented of a Jedi, but you're still a Jedi. You should go do it. Kind of stop feeling sorry for yourself, whatever. As they check out the reports, a protocol droid accidentally goes, "Oh yeah," because Hera goes, "What kind of droids do you have there?" And he listed off some droids. No HK droids, basically no assassin droids. He's like, "No, you can't even repurpose them." And then one protocol droid goes, "Well, it looks like a protocol droid. Might be a variant. I don't know." And the female voice protocol droid says, "Oh, I ran into an HK just 5 shifts ago or something like that. Blah blah blah. It's taking off in that ship." And Hera asks about that hyperdrive you see right there, right here. She's like, "That's too big for any New Republic ships." And he's all, "Well, you can't look at it. It's classified." She's like, "I am a general. Nothing's classified to me." Now, maybe it doesn't work that way in the New Republic because they're fucking stupid, but there's a lot of generals who don't have access to everything in the real world. But this is fucking stupid Star Wars run by incompetent morons who lick windows and have room temperature IQs. Oh, that's the writers. Sorry. So she's like, "I'm totally in charge and everything, and I have the most classification, so totally tell me now." And then there's two white guys. Let's see if we can find the white guys. By the way, I saw Wes Chatham on the IMDb. I didn't see him in the first 2 episodes. From The Expanse. Amos is supposed to be in this show. And I would have noticed him because he's a man. Sorry. But there are no, I'm thinking about it, there are no young, and I mean like 30 to 40-year-old men in this that aren't just background characters. There are none. Like there's some dudes, but they're all like in their 60s. There's no like men. It's so funny. It is so funny. So I would have recognized Wes Chatham, who was great as Amos in The Expanse. All right, where's the guy who says "for the Empire"? Wait, okay, yeah. Hang on. I can't. I gotta play it through a little bit. There it is, right there. There it is. Total Imperial. Look at that white guy. And there's another one too. And he literally gets up and tries to shoot Hera and says, "For the Empire." As soon as I saw him, I'm like, those are Imperials. I even wrote it in my notes. It's so fucking bad. It is so bad. I'm scratching the surface, by the way. I'm going to have to watch this again, unfortunately, to do my video review, which I am most definitely doing. Oh, yes. It's so stupid. So they get away with the hyperdrive, some slow tow ship. It's like a tugboat, but it's towing the hyperdrive up to space, and it can go into hyperspace once it hits the atmosphere. So Hera gets in her ship, and then we get to see Chopper go, and all the Rebels fans are going, Chopper, oh my God. I miss Tumblr. Ooh. I miss sharing my weird gay sex Star Wars fan fiction on Tumblr. Those were the days. So she orders it down. Then a couple of droids. No, it's a droid and a dude who I guess has force powers too. So they explain that Ray Stevenson's character is an old Jedi. And he's got a force-sensitive apprentice. And then there's like Snake Eyes. He's with Snake Eyes. Now, is that a character that I'm not remembering from Rebels? It could be, but I'm going to call him Snake Eyes because he looks like fucking Snake Eyes. Like Snake Eyes. And he's got the dual lightsaber. So they're fighting on the ground while Hera is trying to stop the ship. She doesn't stop the ship. She puts a tracking device on it, which takes so now they know it's orbiting a planet, and it's the Eye of Sion, and it looks like the hyperspace ring from The Expanse. That's what it kind of looks like, and it's got a hyperdrive, and they're gonna go. Morgan is gonna go after. Thrawn, who will probably be in like 2 episodes. So 8-episode series. We've already seen 2. That's what happened. They got the ball, and the ball helped the bad guys find Thrawn. They got a droid head that took them to a shipyard that telling them that the bad guys are doing something. That's 2 whole episodes. Sabine goes back. So they've been fighting. And Hera's been basically trying to talk Ahsoka into taking on Sabine as the Padawan again. So Sabine goes back. She gets her old armor. And she cuts her hair perfectly with a knife in one chop. She goes... Whoosh! And then she's got... I'm sure my wife will be very impressed with this. By the way, here is the... that mural. So stupid. And then here is SJW Sabine. Like, one chop with the knife, right? Any hairdressers out there, you're going to be very impressed with the results. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. So there's Sabine. She's back to her SJW self. Never liked that character at all. And yeah, so here's the The ring. There's the ring with the hyperdrive. And there's a Morgan being a girl boss. So Ray Stevenson, she's like, Morgan asks, like, what do you see? And he said, oh, the future is cloudy. And then he says, I'd hate to kill Ahsoka. There's so few Jedi left. And Morgan goes, sentiment. And he's all, truth. And that's it. But I love Ray, but that's his face in the whole thing. That's everybody's face in the whole thing. And I can just randomly show you stoic face. Boom. First place I went. That facial expression doesn't change very much. Her eyebrows go up sometimes. But that's it. Let's get to you guys. We got SGD for $20 says, greetings from Singapore. This looks like cutscenes from LucasArts adventure games. They probably have more emotion. I would say thank you, Mark. And hail from Singapore. Cheers. Andre C28 for $49.99. Did I? Yes, for $49.99. I do not understand why Disney created two separate fictional universes for Star Wars, which includes Legends, EU, and Canon, DEU. For new fans, just to make things confusing, we might as well create two separate universes like God, GU, and Science, SU. Well, yeah. It's because they had to cancel the EU because when they stole from it, they don't want to be in any danger of being sued or giving out residuals because they did not honor when they bought Lucasfilm had deals in place and Disney did not honor those deals. Kind of like with Fox. That's why they're being sued by a massive investment firm right now that dealt with Fox and not Disney because they have been fudging the numbers to them. This is what happens with these massive mergers. It could be incompetence that missed it. It could be. I'm sure glad that they made this show air on Tuesday. Oh, I read that one already. Thanks for not shilling for this show. Like Star Wars Theory says, Orox 21 for $2. I got nothing against Star Wars Theory. You go do your thing, man. Go do your lower thing. He's not like, it's a Star Wars channel. This is why I tell every content creator, by the way, his Star Wars channel is bigger than the Star Wars channel. So far be it from me to tell him what to do. But I'm going to say, if you're an up-and-coming content creator and you want to cover stuff, you could certainly focus on something, but don't make it the entirety of your channel. Now, Star Wars Theory has other channels. He's got a Cobra Kai one, and he's got a Harry Potter one. So that's another way to branch it out, too. Plus, he was there in early days. But when your channel has to rely on being as positive as possible, that's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to be as honest as possible. Now, if Ahsoka was great or ends great, I'm going to go, hey, it's a good show. I still don't give a fuck. But I can, it's like Robert Meyer Burnett talks about this a lot. There is some art that's objectively good. Not everything is subjective. That is some bullshit. You can not be into something. You can not be into The Godfather, but at least respect the fact that it's one of the greatest films ever made. Gone with the Wind, not my jam, but I understand. It's one of the greatest movies ever made, okay? So there is, it's mostly subjective, but there are some just hard truths. There are some fixed points in time and art, okay? Just saying. Mr. Grant Gregory, happy 18 months, brother. Happy 18 months. At this point, I'd be fine seeing Weinstein on work release to get Hollywood producing good movies again. Just give his paycheck to his victims for it. I know. Hey, no Lord of the Rings without that dude. Oh, he's a scumbucket, and he's a rapist. I mean, he truly is a piece of shit. And I'm convinced that he's had people whacked. I just am convinced. And I'm sure a lot of you are as well. Not a good dude. Guess what? He just got replaced by somebody just as bad. That's the way things are. Nothing has changed in Hollywood, okay? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Bonesaw is ready for $5 at this point. Oh, I read that one. Thank you. But I didn't say your name. X-Wing. What's up, X-Wing, for $5? I also cut my locks in a perfect into a perfect A-frame every time with my buck knife. Yep. You know what? Yeah, that doesn't happen. Mark Tan, I got that one already. And Andre C28, thank you very much. Sharp for 5 Canadian pesos. That's not a Disney smirk. That's, I read that one. I got to just, Andre Pires for 5 Brazilian pesos. I can't wait to see your face when you watch Wheel of Time after reading the books. You will feel our pain. I'm in the process. You know what? I was like, hey, Shad and Disbrew, this is your thing. And they're like, come on over. Enjoy the pain. And I'm like, you guys are such good friends. You guys are such good friends. Like I get a year off of misery from Rings of Power. And you're like, come on over, buddy. It's hard to find friends like that. It really is. Taker 610 for $10 says Star Whores, Ahsoka. Star Whores. It's not one I can put on the title. I'm really going to stick with the Her of the Empire. I'm very proud of myself for that one. Because there's like a double meaning, because I know she's not actually the heir to the Empire, but she is. She's the her to the Disney Empire. Mark Creation Studios for $2. How much of Rebels have you seen? I'd say half. Half. In order. I did see it in order. But back early days, I just reviewed television, wasn't involved or even aware of a culture war at the time. And we just, whenever my friend who was really into it wanted to see it and review it, I said, sure, I'll do it. No problem. I kind of like Clone Wars, but it was like never a passion. I was never a passionate Clone Wars fan, or a Rebels fan. But I saw the Bendu episode with Tom Baker. So that, yeah. And I saw all the Darth Vader episodes. I saw the Obi-Wan episode. I saw pretty much the entire last season. So I'm aware of the names. I'm aware of the events. I know what's up. I know some of the lore, but not like, I don't care enough to get into it because it's such a bastardization. And when I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, we can pretend this counts in some little corner that's inconsequential, that has nothing to do with the major story. And then it started getting into that. And then they had Ahsoka live, which I thought was a terrible idea. Ahsoka died in Rebels when she fought Vader, and it was good. Everything after this is just some random Karen impersonating her. Yeah, technically she did die. She was saved by Ezra in the World War II worlds, right? So he changed time. Jeremy's creamy back end for €5. Oh my God, Taxum? I just checking in real quick. Apparently lightsabers ain't anything anymore. Qui-Gon was just a wimp. Stabbed through the gut, no problem. You're right. Thank you for the $5. Mark Creation Studios, thank you again for the $2. Yeah, I've seen half of it. Nowhere near an expert. And whatever else I know is through osmosis and talking to people who've watched it more. And care a lot more than I do, because I don't. Aloha Boy. I read that one. I read that one. Star Trekker 58 for $10 Australian. And now for good news, I'm heading to the post office soon and expect to pick up my ISOM package here in Australia. Hail ISOM. Hail ISOM. I got my CGCs. This was my CGC package. This is the one we will be giving away on our Swag Sunday on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram at Nerdrotic, and you will get this. You will get this. Giving that one away for free. We ship it to you and everything. We also give you a little swag. This is an idea of my wife. My wife is really good. We like to give stuff away when we can for free. Wish I could give you all free stuff. Really do. Joel Sailor Celir for $20. I am Joel. I apologize. I'm dumb. Thank you for the $20. As a fan of the EU before Disney, I die a little inside every time I see them rob the corpse of the EU with characters like Thrawn. Nothing they make will be as good as Heir to the Empire vision of the future. Hail to you, Gary. Cheers. When I read Heir to the Empire, I was a cloud. This was at a really tough time in my life too. This was I'll admit it. I might have lifted that book. I might have taken that book. I might have shoplifted that book. Sorry, Zahn. If I see Timothy Zahn, I'll give him some cash. Okay. But it was tough days for me. I was actually, God, I can't. Did that come out right around when I got arrested? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was before I went down, because I got arrested and then I got let out from county jail, and then there was a little time in between prison. I think it came out from the time in between prison. I lifted it, read it, freaking made me so happy. It was so good. I'm also a Dark Empire fan, a big Dark Empire fan. Love that. There's an audio version of that for all you newbies out there who might not know. Fully cast audio version of that, which is very good. Dark Horse comics were the shit. They were so good. Love Star Wars Infinities too. As far as like alternate stories, some of the best. I could have opened that ball map when I was 5, says Darth Dragonborn for $1.99. Yes, I forgot to point that out, that the ball map is like a Rubik's Cube that you just, like, Ahsoka couldn't figure this out. The Master Jedi couldn't figure it out, that there's a bunch of lines. She's like, I don't know, can you read it? And you just, oh, there's 3 things you can just turn and line up, and it turns it on. But Ahsoka couldn't figure it out. And Darth, it's great that you point that out, but they've also made it very clear Disney Star Wars' world is filled with functionally retarded people. So shout out to Devin Tracy, Atheist Rue, AIU. Shout out to them. Promanas de, oh my God. Pira Cicaba. Did I get that right? For 10 Brazilian pesos, almost 11 Brazilian pesos. Hail, Brazil, land of Dan Vasc. I'm sorry you have a guy like Dan Vasc, like, besmirching your country, humiliating you. There's not much I can do. You know, I love my gay friends, and I love Dan Vasc. Billy D. Shilliams. What's up, Billy D? For $4.99. Ahsoka and Sabine were lovers, trust me. Oh, yeah. There was some scissoring going on, and they broke up, like all lesbians do. Ahsoka got in her space U-Haul and drove off, never to return. Robert McDonald for $20. I've been with Ahsoka or two, more than a few, actually, but she looks more like a beard to me. Maybe. Yeah. Brandon Anderson for $5. I love Diamond David Lee Roth T-shirt. Yes. R.A. Oh, rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. That one hurts. It does. Ahsoka had mad lesbo vibes, and that's gay. Yeah, that was pretty gay. It was. Rick Reese, again, thank you for the $49.99 super sticker. Nakbaman, abuser of Streamlabs, said, I did the last chat purely to hear how you read it. I need a better hobby for $5. Do you, though? Let me see if you did abuse Streamlabs. I haven't gone over there yet. I'm going to go over there right now. By the way, when this is done, it'll go over on Nerdrotic Live. But if you're still watching it, which you won't see until you get to this part, because this part will be in the future for you, just hang on to the link. I make it unlisted. Hang on to the link. It'll just keep running for you. Okay. Is that cool? I need to go to my dashboard. So, yeah, I didn't like it. It's going to get showered with praise from a lot of people. I did not like it. I think I saw a lot of mids in the chat. I would agree with that assessment if I cared, but I don't. There we go. Oh, there's no time on this one. Yes, there is. Oh, good. The Grizzly for $5. Hey, man, this is on the Streamlabs side. Hey, man, I caught the end of your Real BBC. I think you'd like Dead Space remake. It's classic sci-fi horror. Think Alien mixed with The Thing and 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's got great Lovecraft horror in it. I will check it out because you say Lovecraft, I'm there. Swiggin' Ahsoka Disney cock sucks, says Mr. Wu for $20. Or yeah, I wouldn't know. But General George Patton for $20. Salute to you, sir. Thank you for coming back from the dead to give me a Streamlab donation about Star Wars. Now I want you to remember that no bastard ever won a war by watching Ahsoka for his country. He won it by making the other poor dumb bastard watch Ahsoka for his country. Rob for $10 says, thanks for reviewing so I don't have to give Disney money, even though I know I don't actually have to. Wondering when, where the Wisconsin meetup is happening. Haven't gotten to attend one, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks. We got the bar pinned down. Email Mrs. Nerdrotic. She'll let you know. But we're going to make an announcement and do RSVPs when I get back from UK. When I get back from UK. Yes, and I'm going to Wisconsin in November. I don't know how smart that is, but at least it's not in January. Anook for $10 says, Gary, hail, just wondering, is Luke playing with his balls? Yes. Yes. Sharp for 5 Canadian pesos. That's not a Disney smirk. That's just how women who spent too much money on college smirks. Oh, yeah, that's true. And I read that one. Ticker 610. I read that one. I read that one. And I read that one. I'm almost. Billy D. Shilliams, Robert McDonald. Okay, Brandon Anderson for $5. I read that one. Gosh, dang it. Bonesaw is ready for $5. Says, was Ray Stevenson at least good? Yeah, he was good. I loved him as Ed Teak in Black Sails. I need to finish Black Sails. Was sad to hear he passed. I was very sad too. He was great in Rome, great in Punisher Warzone. By all accounts, good dude. Died young. We can only suspect what of. Gary, you sick ass mofo. Why you tripping, G? Says a knock. And so that's what you wanted to hear. Gary, you sick ass mofo. Why you tripping, G? Well, you know, if you've done as much acid as I have, the trip comes back once in a while. As a matter of fact, now that you bring it up, and knock them on for $5. I was watching Buffy last night with the wife, and we're watching it in the dark, and my remote, I picked it up, and I saw a trail. It just went, and not just like zing, it was like, and I'm like, whoa, haven't seen one of those in a long time. Because acid never goes away, by the way. Did you know that? Never really goes away. T1S for $2. Gary's streaming on purpose this time. I actually am. I am. Raging Rhino! I know you. Okay. Before I get into a super chat, Raging Rhino, the biggest Dave Filoni and Disney Star Wars fan. If you want Disney Star Wars content of somebody who is very passionate and loves it, subscribe. No, Raging Rhino fucking hates it. And he fits his title. You get some good raging with that Aussie accent. It's fucking awesome. Love Raging Rhino. Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars, and Dave Filoni is a disloyal hack. People are going to jizz all over the face, though, because he's the savior of Star Wars. Oh, my God. You're not wrong. Filoni's a hack. And, yeah, that's why I say Disney Star Wars, Raging Rhino, because I don't dead name Star Wars. Star Wars died in October of 2012 when Disney purchased them. Marvel died on August 31st, 2009, when Disney bought them. These are facts. These are facts. If there was member messages, I apologize for missing them. I'm running without an X-ray girl. Charles, how have I not made the Benoit balls joke yet? Oh, well, because you just made it. Still here, says Larry for 37 months. Jesus. The Vespa guy. It's Charles Hopkins. My phone doesn't like the last name, apparently. Much love. You have a great channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Horror. Listening while I edit my first shorts. Wish me luck. Good luck. I fucking hate YouTube shorts, but I'll watch yours, okay? Anything to help you. Always having a good time. Thank you, Gary, says Bionic Sasquatch. That's good. Have a good time. Marshall Harrison, guitarist, for $9.99. Ever seriously consider a run for public office? Your natural affability, productivity, redemption arc, and taste are so great. Example for everyone. No. Maybe in my very elderly retirement, I'll like try to run for like, I don't know. Jello Biafra ran for mayor of San Francisco. Maybe I should run for mayor of San Antonio. But that sounds like a lot of work, to be honest with you, Marshall. And they'd make me wake up at specific times. But thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. Truly. Thank you, Marshall. Hope your guitar playing is fucking kick-ass. Marley Keiko for $2.49 says Brazilian Real is the official Brazilian Real is the official currency of Brazil. I like to call it Brazilian pesos. I call Marley, if you're new. Hi, Marley. How you doing? Thanks for being here. And that's euros, $2.49. Anything I can't identify, I either call a peso or a Martian peso. It's no disrespect. It just keeps it simple. Like for South African money, so if I see it, it'll say ZAR in capital letters, and it'll give me $2 or whatever. So that's why I'll call that a Zardoz. That goes way back. Does it make sense? No. Sammy Scott, thank you for the 10 Australian dollars. Hail. And Marley, thank you for being here. Hope you're doing well. Good Lord, Gary, is there any chance you can raise up the volume on your streams? I didn't use headphones, and it's kind of hard to hear. Is like it's showing blasting right here for me. Here, let's find out. Volume on your streams. I didn't use headphones, and it's kind of hard to hear. Is like that sounds good to me. Might be your phone. But I am maxing. I'm hitting yellow. Sometimes hitting red when I do that. But I can mess with the decibel. Hang on. Here we go. Check. Is that a little louder? Boom. Booyah. Testicles. Spectacles. Yeah, I don't know if that's loud or not. I don't know. Got to go. Thanks for the recap. You are most welcome. Dark Winter, we're almost done here. Serrano Thomas for 49. I guess you got to be female to survive those lightsaber stabs. Remember Vader stabbing Reva and Obi-Wan. That's right. And she survived as well. Well, the Inquisitor survived as well because he had two stomachs. B. Carcel for $5. I also survived, and I'm doing well. Beer and liquor. I'm slowly doing okay and leaving with good, less to all of you. Thank you. Don't drink too much beer or don't drive. Anyway. Hey, Gary, just finished watching you, Mula, and Az. Just when I thought I couldn't like you more, you guys tell me your gym playlists. Priest, Sabbath, and Blind Guardian, guys fucking rock. Cheers, Joel. Yeah, that's a heavy rotation. You know, Az, quite frankly, is Bronski Beat and Erasure. But mine is Dio, Iron Maiden, Priest, Sabbath, Slayer. Yeah. If you haven't seen Charles Hopkins' channel, go doing deep fakes of characters reviewing movies, you should do. Oh, I have. You should do yourself a favor. Gandalf does Rings of Power and Obi-Wan does Star Wars. They are a good laugh. I've seen them, Vespa Guy, for $10. Thank you. Red Falcor for $4.99. It's much worse than hashtag #MeToo overcompensation. They don't give a crap about Harvey and his victims. They just use it to build a narrative against 45. They did. It was actually part of the fortification. So did they plan to get rid of Harvey? No. There's enough bad people doing bad things, and there's enough bad events that happen that can be taken advantage of. Never let a crisis go too waste. I'm forgetting the guy's name who said that, but his brother is a powerful agent in Hollywood. It was Clinton's advisor, right? And his brother was based on the HBO show. You know what I'm talking about. On the agent from Jeremy Piven played. God, why am I blanking on a show I watched all the time? That really sucks. Wow. I'm seeing totally different super chats than I saw on the other ones. Zen Zoltan, thank you for being a member for 27 months. Member 18 months. Mr. Gregory. Okay. So I'm almost caught up here. Zachary Russell, oh my God, why am I hate my brain. I hate my stream strokes. They're not brain farts, they're just straight up stream strokes. Entourage. The originals had some real gritty moments. The new Star Wars projects try to be gritty, but they aren't. There has not been any real menacing presence in a while either. Zachary Russell, that's very astute, and thank you for the $9.99. You want to know why? The story group. There's a bunch of inexperienced writers with no real world knowledge who don't even know how to and most of them don't know nothing about masculinity. So that's what Star Wars is missing, is masculinity. It's missing it to balance out what is basically feminine energy trying to be masculine instead of just having them both work together equally. It's fucking terrible. Star Wars is taken by Korn comic, but who cares? Caleb Knight for 2. I'm aware of that. I mean, totally not aware of that. It's literally the Simpsons meme. Stop. He's already dead. Yes. I see fan response on Twitter, and apparently people are liking the show. Lord Baratheon, it's fucking Twitter. You know, you can see fan response on Twitter, right? But then, hypothetically, let's just say the drinker rips Ahsoka a new asshole in a 9-minute video, and that video will have 2.3 million views with 175 likes to fucking 400 dislikes. Is Twitter an assessment of the world? No, it's not even fucking close. A better assessment still, despite Twitter being owned by Elon and called X now, is YouTube. There's much more balance here. It's not perfect, and they ban people that they shouldn't ban, and that's fucked up, but it's still a better show, especially when it comes to entertainment, because according to Twitter, Miss Marvel is actually popular. According to Twitter, Captain Marvel is the most beloved character in Marvel, but in the real world, that is not the case. According to Twitter, Rey's awesome. Hail Lord Baratheon, the true king of the 7 kingdoms and protector of the realm. Truck Driving Gamer for $5. Hail, Gary. Thanks for telling us about the show. Please tell us what happened in the show. Wait, what's that? But stuff things? No, fine. Okay. I did tell you what's in the show. I don't know how long ago you. Oh, that was a while ago. Yeah, I told you stuff and things happened in the show. They chased some balls. They're looking for Thrawn. Women searching for balls. That is my plot synopsis of Ashoka. Was high on weed every day for 15 years. Hard to stop last week for medical reasons. I can now confirm demons have infinite patience. Glad you're streaming tonight. Offer Nay for $10. Yeah. I'm always grateful that, and this is going to sound really weird, that the drugs I was really into are super illegal and hard to make and hard to get, or I'd be dead. If I was like, I certainly drank and smoked a lot of pot, but those weren't my favorite things. They were not. That must be really, it's like quitting smoking. That was the hardest thing in the world to do at all of them. My heart goes out to you. The demons never sleep. If you are in recovery, you know that. That's why it's one day at a time. It's one day at a time. And you cannot kill your demons. You fight them every day. You can keep them at bay. You can become stronger, but they're always there, ready to come out. And while they're dormant, they get stronger. That's why it's a progressive disease. That's why I call it a progressive disease. Hey, Gray, I wanted to know what your thoughts were on One Piece live action. I know you saw the teaser trailer, but what do you think of the second trailer? I haven't seen the second trailer. Faceless Entertainment for $5. I'll give it a shot. I'm down for trying something new. We saw the Rebel Moon trailer, and I didn't hate it. I did not hate it. Is it going to be a girl boss? Probably. Is it the girl boss who's the key to everything? Probably. Is it going to be shit? Probably, but I like the trailer. Because you know what? I like creatures. And well, they showed like a griffin. I said hippogriff in the react because it looked like a hippogriff, but like, yeah, it looked like they put as put it best. They put Star Wars, John Carter, Conan, and Flash Gordon in a fucking blender, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. GD for $10. But Snyder, Zack Snyder, complete dipshit. By the way, just to clarify, when he said he didn't associate with Geeks and Gamers, he misspoke. So he was saying he didn't associate with the statement, and he talked over himself. But bad actors, many bad actors on many sides decided to take advantage of that situation to as best as they could. So Zach, of course, this was during a charity event where $100,000 was raised for suicide prevention. Not sorry. Thank you, everybody who donated, by the way. Jeremy took the blame like a good leader does. Really wasn't his fault, though. Really wasn't his fault, and he shouldn't have gotten any criticism for what he did at all. A lot of people just wanted to stir the pot, and they did. That's good because they have fun doing that shit, and that's fine. Whatever. However you need to get your insecure kicks is fine with me. But Jeremy, and this was made public, Jeremy talked to Zack Snyder behind the scenes, and he said, dude, I'm really sorry. But guess what? By the time he offered to even make a statement, Jeremy was like, time has passed. You kind of needed to do that without me telling you. I'm paraphrasing. Jeremy can tell it better. I could have gotten some of that wrong, but basically that's how it went down. That's how it went down. That's the truth. No good deed goes unpunished. I agree with most of your points on Star Wars overall, but Ray Stevenson is undeniable, and Dawson's their edge there. Not great show so far, but there's potential. There is potential, GD, if it gets it better, but I'll say this. When has that happened? Because Mandalorian had potential. Boba Fett had potential before it came out. Obi-Wan had potential. They all have potential. I don't like. I like Rosario Dawson. So I want to give you before I go. And if I missed any, I'm sorry. We'll do it on a square up. I'm going to do a couple more, but I wanted to give you an example of a show I watched this afternoon while I was waiting for Ahsoka to come on. I decided to throw on Daredevil. In one episode, we get Matt Murdock's origin, motivation. We know the motivation of a supporting character, Foggy Nelson. We see Karen Page at her lowest. We see her essential origin as well. We establish the world. Very quickly, we realize that this world is recovering from the Battle of New York, from the Avengers. That's the only thing you need to know. And it's really logical. What they had was government contracts coming in, rebuilding New York, and some very bad actors were taking advantage of it. It's a very believable, real story of a lower level street hero. By the way, this is how you deal when you have these big events in comic books. This is what Marvel, this is how they succeeded. They brought everything back down to the ground, back down to the streets. They didn't know the big cosmic adventure. There'll be another one in 5 years. But right now we're grounding everything, right? And in that episode, you get all that. You get 2 assassination attempts on Karen Page, one by the guard who was being manipulated by, later we find out, Fisk. His daughter is threatened. We get to know that guard. We get to know that guard's daughter. We've got the assassin who we know a little something about through some basic and a very intelligent exposition. We get the motivation of the bad guys. We know why they're trying to kill Karen. We know why Karen's basically not wanting to be forthwith with really open with Matt or Foggy. We get introduced to the cabal of bad guys without seeing the big bad. We see the leader of the Hand. We see the Owl, the two Russian guys who kidnap children. And we got the great Madame Gao, who blinds her people to sell drugs. By the end of that episode, Matt was already in 2 fights. We know most of his origin. We know Karen's motivation. We know Matt's motivation. We know the bad guy's motivation. We know why they're there. And by the end, the hitman is dead. The guard is dead. His daughter, who we briefly saw, finds his body. Matt's in the ring, training by himself while he's hitting the punching bag. We see a montage of the Hand opening up a map. We see they want a piece of land. We see Madame Gao and her blinded people stamping the drugs she's selling. We see the Owl working on his computer. He's moving the numbers. And the Russian guys steal a kid. That's in 1 fucking episode. 1. That's a movie. That's a movie worth of shit in 1 episode. That's how you make television. What Disney does is shit. It's hollow, soulless garbage that wouldn't even make a good fucking cartoon. And we've gotten so much of this crap. And when I go back and I watch something like Buffy, which is going on 30 years, well, 20 years from the premiere, from the last episode. Going on 30 years old as a series. And I go back and watch Daredevil, which is a perfect season of television, dude. And I watched that first episode for the 12th or 13th time. And I'm still marveling on like how tight it is, how well it's acted. Deborah Wall, who plays Karen Page, is fucking excellent. And for her to not be in the series is a fucking crime. She is so good. And when she's being interrogated and she's sitting over a dead body, and then she just gives this line, and he was a really nice guy. And you could feel it, And it's just like, oh, it was so fucking good. Charlie Cox is a perfect Matt Murdock. I was like, I don't know. Guy's not a redhead. I was being kind of a comic fan. And he really sold the part. The guy playing Foggy is fucking perfect. The bad guys are perfect. Madame Gao is the shit. We have all these Disney girl bosses, and Madame Gao is like legitimately like scary. It's perfect television. Then I watch Ahsoka, and it's garbage. It's just garbage compared to that. All right. Thank you, GD, for the $10. I appreciate it. Did you hear Dylan Mulvaney is now dating Tolkien's grandson and cameoing in Ahsoka? I don't even know if that's true or not. That sounds like it could be true. I'm not surprised. The heirs of Tolkien are the ones who are selling out his legacy, so fuck them. It was Christopher's son who really sold it out. Simon is a moron, and that's what I've heard from executives in Hollywood, that Simon Tolkien is a moron. Good Lord, Gary, is there any chance you can I read that one already, and then I'm sure glad they made this show air on Tuesday because Sabine. Okay, I read that one too. Okay, we're gonna get out of here. If I missed any, I am sorry. Daredevil, we were spoiled, says BMC Sabine. Absolutely. I mean, I can't believe they canceled that show. It's so good. Apparently said chat volume is lower, so we can just go all the way up on the decibels. Oh, yeah, that is louder, isn't it? Okay. Well, now we know. Knowing is half the battle. Is that louder? How about that? How about that? That's a lot of decibels. That's a lot of decibels. Decibels. All right. So that should be a little louder. Please turn the volume back up. I agree most of the point. Okay, I read that one. So the volume's back up, but now I'm going to go. So if you are watching this live, you will later see me say that this is on Nerdrotic Live. So tell your friends. It gets most of my live streams get re-uploaded over there. Funniest part is a lot of times like live streams will get demonetized on this channel when I unlist them, but I'll fucking re-upload them on YouTube Live and they're fine. It makes no sense. It's so stupid. But that's so everybody have a very, very, very good night. And I will see you. I'm not going to do one for every episode. Nope. I'll probably go live at the end because I'll be traveling through this. But look for a video coming soon. There is a video coming out tomorrow around lunchtime about superheroes. And then the Ahsoka one will be out this weekend. I will be making an appearance on Open Bar at, I believe it's 3 or 4 p.m. Central. Check Drinkers channel with that, with Az and Mahler. We did a really good, if I do say so myself, I had a really good time talking to Az and Mahler today. I thought it was a really good show on Real BBC, so thanks for your support. And of course, Friday Night Tights, we got Benny Johnson and Mahler, and we're going to talk more about Ahsoka. And we might have somebody else. I'm seeing if we can fit them in. I'm trying to see if we got the space for it. So it should be a good Friday Night Tights. Thank you to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left super chat and donation. You help keep the lights on. I really appreciate you. I had a really good time tonight. Thanks for hanging with me. Be good now. Ciao, Bella.